Hey guys, it's Nick with Smith Board Strength and Conditioning. Today's video is about muscle smashing. So what I have here is just a handful of tools that I've kind of acquired over the years, and things you may have seen before, and kind of enlighten you a little bit on why people do the things that they do, why people muscle smash, and just some different variations of things you can use and what they're used for on specific body parts. So we're gonna start off with just like why people use muscle smashing. So basically, muscle smashing, you add compression to the muscle in order to get some type of release or relief. If there is a restriction in the muscle based on the muscle fibers, if there is a actual fascia that has some kind of calcium or whatever it may be, this can be a tool to help remedy increase of muscle length and potentially range of motion overall. So if you do happen to have a restriction in the muscle, that might be your contributing factor to limited range of motion, maybe not from the joint. So the one that most people commonly see is the foam roller. So foam roller can be used for darn near anything. Your back, thoracic spine, you roll out your legs, calves, quads, hamstrings. This is commonly used on the iliotibial band, or IT band, if you guys have heard of that. This is what you'll find one of these in pretty much any commercial gym nowadays. If anybody participates in a powerlifting gym or a CrossFit gym, these have been around a ton. And a lot of these mobility tools you're going to see a lot more in those types of specialty gyms. But foam rollers are getting more popular. Your average run-of-the-mill 24-hour fitness will have probably one of those like black, we call them like a coal roll. Physical therapy offices usually sell them. You can go to Target, Walmart. They're available. They don't necessarily have to be quite like this. This one is the one I use. It has a PVC inside with a little bit of a foam top. So it definitely has a little bit harder consistency to it, but it does have a little bit of give, so it's not awful. If you guys are looking, there's a wide array of foam rollers out there that are super soft to some people even use just straight PVC pipe, which is just abuse. But this is a way to kind of muscle smash certain tissues. You kind of just lay on it. I can go over a tutorial specifically on how to use a foam roller in different areas. But today I just want to go over just some different things that I use or I've seen out there. Foam rollers used with body weight, and then this is called a tiger tail. I've not been able to find anything else used for this other than using it for your legs. It's kind of hard to roll on anything else. I guess you could if you're really trying to put some pressure through it, but the amount of pressure that you put through the muscles determine upon how much pressure you put through this tiger tail. So you can use this on your legs, quads, hamstrings, IT band, calves, like I'd mentioned before. This is something you can use. If you need something that travels a little better, this is pretty nice. They make a couple different lengths of these. These are called tiger tails. I don't even know who makes these, but you can look these up. Next thing you guys might see commonly is a tennis ball. Now, tennis balls are kind of nice because if you talk about like an actual like trigger point of a muscle, you have one spot. It's kind of a hot spot. This can be a good way to alleviate that very specific pain. If it happens to be sharp or if it's just tight, you feel like, okay, that's the restriction point. I can feel it. You're palpating it. You're like, that feels not like the rest of the muscle. Tennis ball is a nice way to kind of get in there. You can use the pressure of your own body weight. If you happen to have something on your forearms, you can kind of press over it. This is the most gentle option. This evolves a little further into some things that are a little bit more aggressive. So basically, as physics goes, if you narrow your point of contact or you make that contact point more solid, it's going to be more painful. So if you have a larger object, say like a soccer ball, for example. People use that to kind of roll out their psoas muscle. A soccer ball is going to be more comfortable than a golf ball. A golf ball is going to hit a very specific spot. It's very hard. There's not a lot of give. It's not comfortable. So all of these techniques or these tools are not particularly, they don't really feel good. They may feel good afterwards, but during them, it's a little bit uncomfortable. You kind of have to acclimate to the amount of pressure you give. So the upgrade from the tennis ball goes to the lacrosse ball. So the lacrosse ball, like I said before, slightly harder. I bring this thing with me everywhere, just in case. If there's some muscle, some trigger point, even if it's just for pain gating, this is something I really like to use. The consistency is a little bit more, less forgiving than a tennis ball. Same concept though. You can roll out, you can use trigger points on your traps, things on your arm. You can, if you so wish and you want to use your body weight, you can use these on your legs and really dig into some of that deep tissue and break some of that junk up. Like I mentioned before, not comfortable. These do not feel good. They are a little bit painful, so if you are a little bit sensitive to that type of pressure, probably wouldn't start off with a lacrosse ball. I would work your way up to that until at least you're acclimated to it. So another thing people have used before, this is a homemade thing. This is called a peanut. Sometimes you'll see these with the tennis balls first, and what they actually do is they just take 2 tennis balls and they tape them together. I made this one out of lacrosse balls. These are really useful when you are trying to mobilize, say, your thoracic spine, because the space between the peanut here is kind of where the spinous process can kind of lay. So if you happen to be mobilizing that tissue, your paraspinals, if you're trying to get a cavitation or like a pop in the spine, this isn't just poking on you. Like sometimes the foam rollers can be a little uncomfortable. So if you want to be a little bit more specific, this can be very helpful. The peanut also can be used if you're trying to do your suboccipital muscles. If you have headaches, this is another good tool because it gives you that little, the protruding spots of your spine, a little bit of a place to rest while you're adding compression in the other places. So this is another tool I like to use. I made this myself. I think I went to Big Five, got a handful of these lacrosse balls, and then got some athletic tape. You basically tie it over one way, tie it over the other, and you have one. So lacrosse balls. Now, this next mobility tool is something that I kind of stumbled across based on an athlete that I follow that also has a pretty big YouTube following. This is called a Max Mobility Sleeve by HVIII brand goods. Basically, all this is it's a neoprene sleeve, but inside there are little acrylic balls, and they're like half spheres. Now, similar to these other things, very hard consistency, can dig in there really good. What I've found with this that I like versus, say, a foam roller is even though your body weight is laying on the foam roller, you can't direct all of your body on top of it because it's obviously distributed above and below the foam roller. What this allows you to do is to kind of really dig in there and use the weight of what it's supposed to be on. So this neoprene sleeve is intended to actually go on top of a kettlebell. So kettlebells is another way, like these other smashing tools. It's the heavy part, whatever size you use, that's how much pressure is going into that muscle. So the cool thing about the acrylic on these is it really can kind of dig down, into the individual fibers. If there happens to be any crevices between, say, I want to smash between one of the quadriceps and really get in there because that might be where the restriction point is. This is a really cool little tool. There are a couple different places you can get it. I'm in no way endorsing this. I have not getting paid for it. It's just something that I've really liked to use. They make 2 different sizes. They make this normal one that's supposed to go up to I think it's like a 63-pound kettlebell. And then they have a smaller one. They have a mini one that goes up to like a 35. Now, This kettlebell that I happen to own is a 35 pounder. This max mobility sleeve fits on it, but it is a little loose. It doesn't slide off when I use it. But basically all you do is you slide it on top of the kettlebell. Fumbling around with this. Goes on like so. And then you take these little acrylic points, and if you have it on your legs, you can kind of rest it on there. And then what's nice about this is you actually get to use the handle of the kettlebell and actually kind of roll on it. So this is actually not too bad. My legs don't feel terrible, but if I do happen to have some soreness, this can be pretty painful. Like I said, there's two different sizes. The weight is distributed amongst how big kettlebell you have. So this is another good tool. Today I just kind of wanted to shed some light on some of the things you guys might see out there. There's a lot of resources out there for different types of muscle smashing. As mentioned before, this may not be the end-all be-all to your potential injury. This is just a tool to help with mobility if you happen to have specific tight spots during your warm-up, after your exercises. These are ways to kind of help facilitate recovery. Yeah, these are just some tools. If you have any questions about anything, where to get some of this stuff, Amazon can pretty much get you anything. The max mobility sleeve, like I said before, I'll give you guys a link for that if you guys are interested. It's kind of a cool tool. Yeah, until next time, thanks for watching.